Welcome to the Soul Happy Success Show. Coach Rebecca here. And this week I am sharing some practical and totally woo practices that I use to not only attract money, but keep it in my life, and how you can implement these too. And this is part two of a series. So if you haven't caught part one, 5-figure debt to 5-figure months, then go back and check that out. There's a few golden nuggets and an overly dramatic money story that you may be able to relate to. So go back and listen to that, or listen to this first and then go back. It is completely your choice, boo. I'm leaving it up to you. And today's episode is going to be about diving deeper into that practical money advice and the three things that really changed the game for me with money, for me and my partner with money. And I wanted to give you a few nuggets that could be really practical for you to take away, and some really key perspective shifts that we started to live that are kind of against what society or mainstream society is teaching us. So let's dive in, because the first thing that we did was we decided to eradicate debt from our lives for good. And this is where maybe society does not agree, because whenever the TV is on, which is not often in our house, but whenever it is on and there is a commercial, it is always a credit card. It is always, you can finance this. You know, debt is so commonplace. Even for, you want to buy a shirt, you can buy it in 3 parts and it's like $2 each time. Or, maybe you're in the UK and it's like £3, £3, £3 for this £9 shirt. It's so common to finance things, to get a credit card, to take out the loan, because we actually got a letter the other day from a previous credit card company that we were a part of. And it was talking about, give yourself the freedom. And, they use all the words that we want. Everyone wants freedom, like spread the cost and lower the stress. And, they know what they are doing. And the first commitment that we made was against all of those things. It was to say no instead of saying yes to the vision that we want, as opposed to what I want right now, instant gratification style. So I'll give you another little example of this. It's really specific. This happened to one of my clients not 3 weeks ago. And I have a client, she has a horse, she loves horses, she's a wonderful horsewoman, and she wanted to do a horse clinic, which was over £500. She's based in the UK. And she said no. And she was so dang proud of herself for saying no. And do you want to know why? Because she's committed to a bigger vision. She's committed to, I could spend this 500 now, or I could put this 500 into a fund so that I can buy my own house that has some land and my horse will be there. And we think that these little decisions, these micro decisions, don't have weight. But when you're talking about money, my darlings, they have weight. Have you ever heard, look after the pennies and the pounds take care of themselves? That's because it's math. Okay. You can't reason around it. Math is math. It's a very simple, addition and subtraction situation. Okay. So in order to say no to taking on more debt, what I would love for you to do right now is take a moment. I do this with all my clients. I do this so many times. You will experience this, I'm sure, a million times in the show. But if you were to think right now about the vision of what you want, so you can close your eyes. I like to do this, closing my eyes. I like to let my thoughts race really, really fast. If you're driving a car right now, dear Lord, do not close your eyes. But if you close your eyes, if it is safe to do so, and you let your thoughts race really, really fast. So you'll be thinking of, what's going on in your space. You'll be thinking of all the things I've said so far. You'll be thinking of maybe the debt that you're in. So instead of it being like a meditation and like quiet the thoughts, let them race, let them go wild, start seeing colors and images, and it all just gets. And then you're just going to zoom in. And we're going to stop for a second and we're going to see a vision of something that you want in the future. So maybe it is to leave your job and have an emergency fund cushion. Maybe it is to have your own house in the country. Maybe it is to go to America and do Route 66 and take the time off your work because you have got the money in the bank. Maybe it's sending your kids to college and you're just going to live in that vision for a little second. You're going to see it and you're going to connect to it. And it's going to feel so good. And a smile's going to come across your face because you're like, oh, I wish Rebecca had said this vision because this is amazing. And it feels so good and you can see it. And then you're going to open your eyes. And you're going to let the vision pull you because pain will push you. Pain will push you into debt. That's typically when we take on debt, right? I shared in the last episode that I felt pushed by a previous coach. I made this decision myself, so ain't no bad blood here. This is not a Taylor Swift song. But I felt pushed to get rid of my bad money energy by taking on a loan that I didn't need. Now, while I chose that, I let the pain push me into making a poor financial decision instead of letting the vision of what I wanted pull me. Because when the vision of what you want pulls you, you see that there is a bigger plan. There is a higher purpose for that £500. For that £5, if you actually looked at investing and interest rates, and if you invested all of the money that you are like leaking, I was going to cuss. I'm not going to lie. I cuss. I was going to say the money that you're pissing away, right? You are going to stop doing that and you're going to invest it. If you started investing that money, you would be a millionaire before you even knew it. It's insane. It's like when you open a bank account, and I have a Revolut account. This is not an ad. It supports me to, travel and have money in different areas, and it's really great. And they have this spare change function where you can put your spare change into what they call a vault, right? I believe that most banks have this. You'd have to check with your own providers, right? But it keeps that money in a little vault. And then I look at it and I'm like, how do I have £50, $100? How has that happened? And it's just because those two accounts, that spare change that you don't even think about, all adds up. So allow that vision that you just had when you closed your eyes, if it was safe to do so, to pull you instead of letting the pain push you into debt. And instead of letting the pain make you feel like, I have to not take on any debt and I have to chop up these credit cards and I have to not have any more fun ever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let the vision of something greater pull you and understand what's happening with your money if you're taking on debt and how much more that's going to cost you in the long run. Not only in terms of financially what's going to cost you, but what's going to cost you when it comes to your autonomy and your freedom around money. All right. So that was the first thing we did, is that we decided no more debt. The second thing that we did was we got on a budget. Now you can create a budget so simply, and this is where you lose people. So don't get lost, because this is going to get fun at the end, I promise. But I want you to just look at the last 30 days, right? And there is no, oh, but in the last 30 days, I took this massive trip around Europe and it's just not a typical month. The last 30 days, like, don't BS me and don't BS yourself. Your numbers will not BS you, my darling. So you're going to look at the last 30 days, you're going to open a spreadsheet, and then you're going to categorize the things that you spent money on: rent and mortgage, utilities, car, insurance, groceries, snacks, trips, excursions, meals out. Whatever are the things that you spent most of your money on, you're going to categorize them. You can have a miscellaneous, go wild. Subscriptions is another big one. And then you're going to start looking at it and you'll see where you're leaking money. You'll see the holes in the bucket, right? You will see where that money is going, that you're like, dang, I didn't even know I was spending that much on that. That's a lot when it adds up. because we don't see Starbucks and their $7, $8 coffees now, which is astronomical. I love you, Starbucks, but dear Lord, what's going on, right? So you don't see that $8 every day and think about it, but over time, that adds up. And if, for example, you do something like me, then first of all, let me explain this. When we first got out of debt, then we stopped looking at our budget every week. So we were looking at this budget every single week. And I highly recommend if you're in debt to do that, because you want to see that debt get smaller because it gives you such momentum. Then we started looking at every month. And last week, I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to be honest. We looked at our budget. And last month, I spent $85 in snacks. And I couldn't tell you what kind of snacks they were. I believe some of them were, if you've never heard of dough before, if you go to Eat Dough on Instagram, their plant-based cookie dough is the best thing you'll ever taste. Not an ad, it's just delicious. I'm just being real. So probably like half of it went on dough, but the other half, I could not tell you what snacks I bought. They did not bring me so much joy that I remember them, all right? So if that went unchecked for a year, that is over $1,000. That's $1,020 to be exact over a year if I did not see that now and say, hey, I'm going to make a change. So I want you to know that right now, those things, if you're in debt, the Starbucks, for me, the snacks that I absolutely didn't need, right? These are things that we don't need. Eating out, Netflix, these things are all a luxury. Society doesn't tell you that. They tell you, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Trust me, when you can treat yourself, when it is your own money, that's joy. That feels so dang good. You can't replace that feeling. And the way that you can enjoy these along the way, because I'm not saying never get the avocado toast, never get the Starbucks, how dare you have a subscription. Now, something that before we got out of debt we had fun money. We still have fun money. But what I used it for pre getting out of debt and post getting out of debt, very different. Because pre getting out of debt, my fun money was, okay, what are the things that are a luxury to me? It was $50. It still is $50. I realized, interestingly, I didn't need more than $50. So I had an online dance membership on there until we got out of debt. And now we have a health budget, which feels so good because I got an extra $15, which is exciting. But that fun money that's set aside, that's guilt-free. Oh my gosh, guilt-free spending. Stop it. It feels so good. I felt so bougie. I got my membership. I would go for a coffee, a couple of times. Maybe I'd buy myself a book, and it wasn't out of control. I felt very much in control. I really loved the things I was buying. So if I was going for a coffee, it was a good coffee. It was like a decaf oat milk pistachio situation, and it was divine. I'm going to enjoy that a lot more than, oh, can I just have like a latte or an Americano every single day? I'm going to enjoy that way more because it's bougie, it's intentional, it's fun money. So that is the key. The key to the budget is having fun money and making sure that you are not just doing this one time, that you revisit it. And if you've not done it for a little while, if you felt out of whack with it, fell off the wagon, get back on the wagon, because what you don't measure, you cannot manage. And you'll do something like me and spend $85 in snacks and go, dang it. That $85 could have been something really worthy. That $85 could have been invested. That $85 could have gone into my business. That $85 could have been such a bougie date night. We could have doubled our restaurant budget, which always makes my husband really happy. He loves going out and eating. But that $85 was just gone. It's never coming back to me. I understand law of attraction and like technically it will come back to me, but you know what I mean, right? And the third thing I had to do was I had to forgive myself and move on. This is where we get a little bit woo, right? Because we've all made some poor calls when it comes to our money, likely because we weren't taught how to handle it. And if you saw my journey in the last show, you'll understand what I mean. And I had to forgive myself for that. And in that forgiveness, I had to move on and make the commitment to myself that I choose to be responsible for my money going forward and not blame other people. Like, oh, they had a birthday and that's why I blew my budget this month, when it's never someone's birthday. They invited me on holiday and I had to go when you could have said no. We used my Deliveroo account when I went for that dinner and not everyone paid me back. No, we're going to take responsibility. I would much rather be uncomfortable and say, I can't commit to that in my budget right now. It's never I can't afford it. The likelihood is you can't afford it, right? It's I can't commit to that in my budget right now. I'm choosing not to. If you say I can't afford it, it's like the kind of easy option out, because then people back off because no one likes to talk about money. It's so taboo. If I say I can't commit my finances to that right now, no, we can't use my Deliveroo account, right? I'd rather be uncomfortable and say no than suffer in silence, in debt, and be resentful. And that's the third thing I learned. Because the main learning is that money is actually pretty great, right? It must be, considering that we always want more of it. And now to get to the woo. I believe that the universe will not give you abundance if you can't manage what you already have. It's like clients. You probably aren't turning them down, right? You're trying to drum up business. Everyone is, right? No one's ever got enough clients, because if you've got enough clients, you scale your business, you figure that out, and then you take on the clients that are on your wait list, right? Maybe Tony Robbins. He's got the most insane wait list in the world, from what I understand. But you're probably not looking to turn them down. But you'll be looking after the ones that you have first. I'm always looking after the clients I have first. Why don't we do that with our money? Like, your money is no different. You have to look after it in order for it to grow. Numbers don't lie. And the universe will only give us what we can manage. So if you believe in the universe, Star Wars, maybe your religion, I love that for you. It might be God, it might be your creator. They will not give you, the royal will not give you something that you can't manage. So in order to work in alignment with both, you have to take a step towards, I'm going to use the universe. You have to take a step towards the universe for it to take a step towards you. So the step that you're taking towards the universe, the 3 things that I gave you today, right? Deciding to not take on any more debt, deciding to stick to a budget, deciding to forgive yourself for past mistakes and move on. I could have said that these were, choices that you make, but this has to be a decision and a commitment, because this is serious. So making those decisions is your step towards the universe, and the universe is going to answer. Might be today, might be tomorrow, could be in 3 years from now, but it's going to answer and it's going to say, hey, you did a really good job. Here's the payoff. Here's the payout. All right. So if this was helpful, please like and subscribe, share it with a friend. That helps so much. And I will see you back here next week on the Soul Happy Success Show. And in the meantime, I'll be over here believing in you.